So today one more important topic which we are going to discuss is about one of the important bacteria which causes human infection, that is Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus is responsible for hospital acquired infection, various type of community acquired infections. So what are the virulence factor of Staphylococcus? So in virulence factor, we have their cell wall, peptidoglycan, we have teichoic acid and clumping factor and protein A. These all are your cell wall associated factor. Peptidoglycan, teichoid, clumpy factor and protein A. Then we have toxins, hemolysin, alpha, beta, gamma and delta hemolysin. Then we have leukocidin, which is called Panton Valentine toxin, and exfoliative toxin, enterotoxins and toxic shock syndrome toxin, which we commonly write as a TSST. Then we have enzymes released by Staphylococcus, which is one of the important pathogenic factor of Staphylococcus. That is coagulase, thermonuclease, DNase, fibrinolysin, and hyaluronidase, lipase, and proteases. These are different virulence factor, that is disease-causing factor of the Staphylococcus. We'll see the important point about Staphylococcus toxin. So we have alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Alpha gets inactivated at 70 and reactivated at 100 degrees centigrade. And it has dermonecrotic, cytotoxic, neurotoxic activities. Beta, which acts as a sphingomyelinase in nature and shows hot and cold phenomenon. Please note it down. The hot and cold phenomenon is shown by beta hemolysis. Why we say it is a hot and cold? Because they start hemolysis at 37 degrees centigrade. That becomes evident only after the chilling. Okay, when you give the cooler environment, then only hemolysis will be apparent. Gamma delta lyses human RBCs. Protein A, as we have seen in the previous slides, that is one of the important virulence factor of Staphylococcus. How protein A, what it does? So it inhibits antibody response, it inhibits phagocytosis of the Staphylococcus. So what this protein A does, okay? So it goes and bind to FC receptor, okay? And so FAB receptor will be free to bind other antigen. Now what is leukocidin? Leukocidin, which we say Panton Valentine toxin, okay? This is a combination. This is also called synergohymenotropic toxin. Why they are called synergo? Because two toxins together, they show synergistic effect. That is your gamma hemolysin and PV toxin, that is Panto-Valentine toxin. Okay, so the gamma has 3 fragments, PV has 2 fragments. They together act in a synergy, so that is called synergotoxins. They are expressed on MRSA, which is responsible for your community-acquired infection. Then epidermatolytic toxin, which is responsible for Staphylococcus scarlet skin syndrome. So what happens in this syndrome? The skin peels off very easily. So that sign is called Nikolsky sign. You can see in the picture how the skin is peeling. And when it's seen in the pediatric age group and children, it's called Reiter syndrome. Enterotoxin, very important point. Okay. So this year also need question you have got on enterotoxin. People with history of having pastry around 8 to 10 hours back, you have seen that history, you have seen that question. So enterotoxin, what it causes? Staphylococcus food poisoning it causes, and they are preformed toxin. They are already present in food. And incubation period is 1 to 6 hours. And how it acts, this toxin? They stimulate the vagus nerve. They stimulate the vagus nerve, which is responsible for your nausea and vomiting. Okay, and further it can lead to, occasionally it can lead to diarrhea, hypotension, dehydration. No fever will be present in this. So nausea and vomiting will be the main clinical presentation of the patient. Self-resolving in 8 to 10 hours. Which food item? Milk products, bakery items, potato salads, processed meat are the responsible for enterotoxin. These are heat stable toxins. So you cannot boil and you cannot heat it and destroy it. So these are heat stable toxin. It has different serotype A2E, GI, R2T and V. Now coming to toxic shock syndrome toxin. We have 1 and 2. So which are toxic shock syndrome toxin? We have enterotoxin F, pyrogenic exotoxin, rarely enterotoxin B. What are these? Actually, these toxic shock syndrome toxin is a super antigen. Please remember, you have got question on super antigen plenty of time. So what is this TSST? Nothing but a super antigen. So what this super antigen? They causes excessive stimulation of T cells, proliferation and stimulation of T cells. They go and bind as V beta region of T cells, okay? And release different inflammatory mediators, interleukins 2, interferon gamma, interleukins 1 and tumor necrosis factor. This case of toxic shock syndromes got noticed by vaginal colonization by Staphylococcus aureus, which we have seen in a female with history of tampon news. So you have got a question, what is TSST? A type of super antigen where it binds to V beta region of T cells, excessive proliferation of T cell it causes. What is the diagnostic test we do? Coagulase test, because it releases coagulase enzyme. So it's responsible for your coagulase test. Okay. So this is one method of coagulase, slide coagulase and tube coagulase. Okay. So this is the positive where clumps or granule kind thing you can see. This is positive coagulase test where you just see milky white suspension, that is negative coagulase. So you have got a question where picture was shown and asked which organism it can be. So if coagulase positive, it's Staphylococcus aureus. So on the basis of coagulase test, you classify Staphylococcus. Which are positive, we say Staphylococcus aureus. Which are negative for coagulase, we say CONS, coagulase negative Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. And we have two methods. When we do on slide, we see it as a slide coagulase test. When we do in a tube, we say it as a tube coagulase test. So this tube coagulase test where clumping, you can say thickness is there, that is called clot is there, we say it as a positive. Where it's not, it's negative. Okay. So where all Staphylococcus aureus resides, where carrier, where all you can see Staphylococcus aureus. No nostril, anterior nair is the most common site where you see Staphylococcus aureus, most common site, 100% cases you see. Then you have different site like skin of the chest, you have forearm, you have hand, perineum region, ankle, axillary region. There are different sites where Staphylococcus colonization can be seen. Okay, so if you are tracing for MRSA carrier, methicillin resistant Staphylococcus carrier. So most ideal specimen for those patient or people will be anterior nair swab. Okay. So what all skin manifestations Staphylococcus causes? There are various manifestations. It causes impetigo, erysipelas, cellulitis, folliculitis, skin abscess. Skin abscess, you have furuncle, carbuncle, necrotizing soft tissue, necrotizing fasciitis. So you can see different picture of impetigo, which we see honey-like crust in children. Erysipelas, where painful erythematous lesions. You see, cellulitis is inflammation of skin and subcutaneous tissue. Folliculitis is the, you can say something pimple kind, you see, that is called folliculitis, where hair root gets infected. Then you have abscess, red tender region, then necrotizing. So what, apart from these skin infection, what all infections Staphylococcus aureus can cause? VAP, ventilated associated pneumonia, bloodstream infection. These all are hospital acquired infection which is caused by Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. A patient on central venous catheter, peripheral catheter, you see bloodstream infection. Then you have various musculoskeletal infection, infective endocarditis, especially in a case of prosthetic valve replacement patient. Then it causes pneumonia, UTI, especially in a reproductive age group. UTI is caused by Staphylococcus saprophyticus. Okay. So you have Staphylococcus aureus, which is coagulase positive. You have coagulase negative. You have saprophyticus and epidermidis. Okay. So two species are commonly seen and which causes human infections. Staphylococcus saprophyticus, which causes UTI in reproductive age group, female, especially the female. Okay. So what are the tests which we do for differentiation or classification of Staphylococcus? So we do catalase tests. Catalase is the enzyme which converts hydrogen peroxide to water and oxygen, nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen is seen as a effervescence. Okay. So when effervescence is seen, it's called positive, not seen, it's called negative. You have tube method, you have slide method. Similar to your coagulase test, you have tube method and slide method. So all gram-positive cocci, if it's aerobe, we say it as we group them into micrococcus. So all together they are Micrococcaceae family. Aerobes, micrococcus. If they are aerobe, facultative anaerobes, Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, Enterococcus. If they are catalase positive, it's Staphylococcus. If they are catalase negative, it will be Streptococcus and Enterococcus. So all gram-positive cocci, aerobic, micrococcus, aerobe and facultative anaerobe, Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, Enterococcus do catalase. If it's turned out to be positive, Staphylococcus. If it turned out to be negative, Streptococcus and Enterococcus. Now this question has been asked in the AIIMS previously. Okay, how you differentiate micrococci from Staphylococcus. So this is a test because micrococci is aerobe. Okay, so how we do oxidative fermentation test, which we see in micrococci, which we do for micrococci, we don't do for Staphylococcus. Okay, well, that will be only fermentative. So when you do oxidative fermentative test, okay, so the micrococci will show oxidative result, your Staphylococcus will show fermentative result. So this is oxidative result test, this is fermentative result test. Okay, there are some other tests which differentiate Staphylococcus and micrococcus. One is your bacitracin test, okay, which we say bacitracin. Okay, 0.04 unit. Okay, if it's turned out to be sensitive to bacitracin, it is micrococci. If it's resistant, it is Staphylococcus aureus. Apart from that, you have listostaphin sensitivity, you have furazolidone sensitivity. Thank you.
Best training, peaceful environment, PG medical entrance exam preparation were my expectations. I got them at Speed Medical Village in Kanchipuram. Today, I am a PG topper.
Speed Medical Village, a unique eco-friendly campus dedicated for PG preparation. Speed Medical Institute, a complete solution for medical education.